Paranormal 13 News. We're here live from the Loft Restaurant in North Andover, Massachusetts, 1140 Osgood Street. Thank you so much, the Loft. You got the best appetizers in the world and the best meals in the world. I mean, this onion soup, oh my God, it's to die for. Hey, I'm Kadrolsha, queen of the paranormal, and I've got my two beautiful co-hosts with me. I got Jess. Take it away.
I'm Jessica Rainville. I'm a voice actor and paranormal investigator out of Maine. I have a website, jessicarainville.com voiceover as well.
And we have Lulu.
I'm Carole. I'm a paranormal investigator.
And she's also, and she keeps forgetting, oh my God. What else do you do? She runs my social media. And I know why she doesn't want to say that, because a lot of you guys that send like funky things to me, she's the one that writes you back, and it's not very nice.
It's true, yes.
It's true. It's
Own it, girl.
absolutely true. Listen, we're here at Paranormal News 13 to empower women. We switch our co-hosts up, and we give them an opportunity to be able to sell their wares, talk about themselves at a level internationally that they would never have otherwise. So support them. Get into paranormal13news.com. Read about them. Exchange commerce with them. That's what we're all about. I'm Kadrolsha, queen of the paranormal, 5-time paranormal award winner, and superhero in comic books. That's right, got my own comic book out. You can check that out as well. Go ahead, take it away, Jess. What's your story this week?
So today we are going to talk about Thunderbirds.
Ooh.
Have you ever heard of Thunderbirds?
Yeah.
Not the Air Force.
I heard of a nightclub and a band.
A nightclub and a band.
A nightclub called the Thunderbird and a band called the Thunderbirds.
Well, these Thunderbirds are actual birds that have a giant wingspan. And they can go up to 20 feet.
Really?
20-foot wingspan. Now, this is like a a Native American folklore, supposedly, but all around Pennsylvania, they've been citing this Thunderbird. And even back in 1977 in Massachusetts, a child was abducted by this bird. He's 70 pounds, and he's with his mother. And all of a sudden, this giant bird comes and takes him away, and he narrowly escaped this bird clutching on him. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this.
Wow.
Look at that wingspan.
That's a big bird.
That is big.
Yeah. So I mean, at least we have footage of these birds. I mean, it kind of almost looks like a
It looks like a pterodactyl.
Yeah, or a bat.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, and actually, they presume that it's related to the pterosaurus.
Really?
So it's possible that maybe this is just a descendant of the dinosaur.
You can kind of see that in the head.
Yeah.
I can see where it could probably pick up small dogs. I mean, I used to have a little chihuahua called Pickles. The reason we call it Pickles is because she used to like to eat pickles. But nonetheless, and I used to have to watch him out in the backyard because the hawks would come down because she was just so little, you know. And so I can see a big bird with a big wingspan, and, you know, getting a small dog. Well, a child that weighs 70 pounds? I don't know about that.
The size of that bird? I think I can believe that.
Yeah, I could believe if
bird.
a bird that big came up and tried to snatch my child. Like, what would you do? Would you freak out? I mean,
I would freak out.
How do you react to that? Like, do you try to attack it? Do you freeze?
I don't know.
If you were with your child, of course
you'd be
going
screaming,
to start
waving your arms,
Yeah.
making yourself bigger than life. The house will drop. That bird will drop your kid.
I mean, and I feel like, because this was an actual news story in, I believe it was the Boston Globe. Yeah, it was in the Boston Globe. It was Marlon Rowe and his mother, Ruth. And I feel like I wouldn't make that up. Like, why would you make up this tall tale about a bird coming and swooping up your child?
How old was the child?
He was 10.
70 pounds.
Oh, so he corroborated the story.
The kid, I mean, he couldn't keep up alive for that long. You know what I mean?
And when was this, in 1976? 1977. That's interesting. I think it's quite plausible that there are birds that big. The Thunderbird is still alive. I mean, you said a lot of these sightings were in Pennsylvania.
Yes. So even as recent as 2013, we've had sightings of this bird. So
and And the great thing about this is there's pictures to back it up. There's pictures of it. So that means it's real as far as we're concerned here at Paranormal 13 News. And Lou, what do you have for us?
Well, next I have some footage of a mermaid.
Ooh.
Don't believe it? Take a look at it.
Okay, let's look at this. Get closer.
I can see it. It's on the rock. See it? Right on the rock? Right there.
There it is.
Okay.
No, I don't believe it.
All right.
I don't either.
I kind of don't either, and my reason is simple because, again, the camera's wobbly everywhere, the footage is blurry.
Well, they're filming it off of their computer screen.
Okay, that's fine. Well, why can't they hold their hand still? You
Well,
want to
they're
see
filming
it,
off the
right?
computer screen. That's concerning too, because they've obviously done something to some footage to make it look like that.
It could very well be that, sure.
I think in my opinion on this particular video is that you don't necessarily see like the mermaid, like you see the mermaid all of a sudden, like after it dips down, the camera dips down, and then you see the mermaid jumping off. So
you don't have a lot of time looking at the mermaid.
yeah, and I feel like there's probably some doctoring of this.
Yeah, some tomfoolery going on.
And the other thing is, like there's this big fad right now with mermaids where people actually have mermaid fins and they swim. So how do you know that that's not maybe one of those people who can swim with their mermaid tail? I know of someone.
It could very well be. See, that's the whole thing. That's why we're looking at this footage, even though it's posted as news.
Right.
Is it really news? I mean, or is it fake news?
Exactly. I think it's fake.
Now we're not political now. But what we're trying to discern is it real or is it not real when it comes to that? And I do know that oh gosh, back at the beginning of time, sailors have seen mermaids. They've seen all this kind of thing. They have all these stories. But you got to remember dehydration. They didn't have enough vitamin C. They had rickets. They had everything going on for hallucinations to be able to see these things.
Right.
So I think in this day and age, I just don't think there's a mermaid out there like that.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. And there was this thing about the sailors, and I think they were seeing like manatees or something like that. I'm thinking that they were beautiful
that makes
women
sense.
because they were at sea for such a long time.
Right.
You know what? Okay, that's a loaded question. I'm not going to answer that. But anyways, that's fun. And I've got a good story here. We're going to try to debunk right now footage from a CCTV camera, close surveillance. And this came from Manchester, England, and they swear it's a poltergeist. Take a look at this.
I don't know how they did some of that, but some of it you
Whoopee cushions.
Yeah.
Whoopee cushions or like
Whoopee cushions. How do you mean?
You gotta remember, where the surveillance camera is pointing, You can't see around the back of the object. How do you know there's not somebody back there pushing that? How do you know that there's not a break in the wall, someone, whoop, it's gone?
Right.
You don't know because
all
you
the
can't
footage
see.
is of the
You
other
don't,
side of things happening.
all you're seeing is one side of all the stuff flying around. That does not mean that that's real. Now, if you had the other side, and that side,
Right.
then you could tell right away. You can match up the time frames, you can match up everything, but this is a super easy thing to replicate
I agree.
that we just saw. It doesn't mean you have a poltergeist, doesn't mean you have a devil, a demon, or anything throwing things around. It just means someone got creative
Right, I agree.
with cameras.
I agree. And also, just the motion itself, it just seems so forced of each.
Yeah,
It's like
it was a little bit too, like you
Yeah.
could tell maybe somebody was behind that door closing it because they didn't show you from the other side
That's
in that room
right.
where
Yeah.
the door was being closed down. And I know they had cameras in that room because later on they showed too.
Right.
Why do people dock the footage?
Attention.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
attention.
15 minutes of that.
Yeah, attention,
Yeah.
views on whatever
They want to go viral.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
you can make money going viral.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
That's probably why they did it.
I'm very skeptical when it comes to the paranormal. I only believe a person can walk through a door when it's open. I'm Jackie Martling, and I approve this massage.
Okay, we have a story. Jess has a story for us.
Out of my home state, we've got one out of Turner, Maine, which isn't that far from me. So there is a mystery which the residents of Turner, Maine have attributed to killing a Rottweiler and there was another small dog. I don't know, but this animal has a horrid stench, they say, and it looks like some sort of like evil beast. So let's see what this thing looks like.
No.
I mean, it looks like a fluffy dog to me. That looks strange,
awful.
but... And so eventually this animal came up dead, obviously, as you can see in that picture. And now the residents believe that this was the animal that was causing disturbances with, small rodent, or small farm animals and dogs and whatnot. And people had seen this animal out and about.
Okay.
Again, no other pictures except for this one, which is strange to me.
Some people had said they saw it in their backyard. They got kind of close to it before they realized it was something unusual.
Right.
And I think it's weird that obviously there's only
No,
one picture.
no.
of it, so far.
Not that I want to jump to the punch, but didn't they DNA test this
They
animal?
sure did, and it was some
Yeah,
sort of like wolf-dog hybrid or something
Yeah.
along those lines. And I mean, to me, that's exactly what it looks like to me. So I feel like it's not really out of the ordinary that could happen. You know what I mean?
Why do you think people come up with again, we're going back to the 15 minutes of fame, but I mean, a story about an animal that is clearly not a beast.
Well, think
It's
about
a
it.
mix between
Think
them.
about it. Sometimes people, they hear this going on in their hometown, and you look out and you see, a beast in your yard. It's dark. Their eyes have that reflective glow, and you might see it real quick, and your imagination goes crazy. In the dark.
Yeah, she
You
might
see
have
those
had one
eyes
too
glowing.
many, and then you don't know what you're smoking or what you're drinking.
Yeah, by the
The
time
next
they
thing-
retell the story a few times, they've seen like a devil-like beast.
Right. And
That's true.
I'm sorry, but animals in the wild, they all have horrid stenches. Like one time we
Yeah, that's
accidentally trapped a squirrel in our little have-a-heart. We were trying to catch something else. Was digging up our yard, and I walked over near it, and it stunk really bad. So, I mean, any animal has a horrid stench. I feel like being out in the wild.
I 100% agree with you, but I think this was something that could have been easily solved without a DNA test. I don't know why they had to go to that extent to find out
I think it is
exactly
good
what
that they
was,
did
or
though,
obvious.
just to put an end to all those people, with the devil-like
And
creature.
I understand.
You know what's
Puts a lot of people to rest.
You know what's funny about this too is that animal control and wildlife officials wanted nothing to do with it. So eventually, the animal just decomposed, and the vultures came and took it.
Yep, that's
So,
true.
They got their little piece of DNA, but other than that, nobody really cared enough to.
Well, at least the rumor stopped.
I know, and
That
the
fucked it off,
state
Yeah.
didn't even, they recognized this
Oh,
wasn't paranormal.
we have Steve here again.
Yeah.
He's bringing us, what are you bringing us now from the law?
This is the ahi tuna poke bowl.
Ooh.
So it's a Hawaiian-inspired
My God.
raw rare tuna dish.
Ooh.
Oh my
Right,
goodness
yeah.
gracious. Okay,
Brought
that
some
onion
silver for you
soup
this
was
time.
to die for, by the way. Thank
Nice.
you. Thank you, the loft.
You're welcome, enjoy.
Treating us right here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Ah, good.
This
Also-
is no mystery beast.
No, that's for sure. I'm eating that. That's for sure. Now, Lulu has a story for us.
I do. This one is about the Rain Man. Yeah, we actually have some footage. See what you think.
Oh, hold on.
Put it on, please.
Back in the early 80s, Donald Decker was known as Rain Man to Stroud Area Regional Police, who say Decker could make it rain. Detective Richard Wolbert was on the case back then and says he still can't explain it.
Water traveling, flying around the room horizontally. I mean, it definitely wasn't a plumbing problem. It was just appearing and then flying around the room. And I was still wearing glasses at the time, and I was getting struck in the face with it. So it was really strange.
Wolbert says it's a case, to this day, he has no explanation for.
There was something going on in the house, and I really don't, I don't know what it was.
Okay, so his grandfather passed away, and they think that that has something to do with his ability to make it rain in the house.
Yeah, what they don't know was that his grandfather was abusing him since he was a young child. So maybe it was just all that horrid energy. But then again, I don't know. I don't know if I can believe it. Even though they have like law enforcement witness it raining in the house, there's a lot of witnessing. I guess maybe too much to kind of just brush it off.
Yeah, and also when he was in jail, too, you have to remember, he went to jail for a period of time, and he also made it rain in there with prison officials seeing it as well.
Right.
So,
Did they ask him for a test? Like, can you make it rain in another part of the prison?
And he did?
Yeah.
yeah, so these are one of these stories where you'd like to say, yeah, that guy's an arsonist. I don't want to believe anything
Very
he
strange.
has to say. Why don't you just put the fire out, you know?
Right.
But when you have this
Yeah,
many
that's a good
people,
point.
yeah, when you have this many people agreeing that, yeah, he made it rain here, he made it rain here, it wasn't substantial amounts,
Right.
but water did come down, like from the ceiling and onto the walls.
I mean, it is possible.
Yeah.
Maybe he was possessed. Maybe it is possible that.
His grandfather
Yeah.
possessed him.
Like Lou was saying, you know,
Yeah.
that horrid energy
Mm.
of being an abused child.
Right, and he was also out on furlough too from prison to go to his grandfather's funeral.
Right.
So I feel like maybe at that point in his life, I mean, first off, you're in prison, and second of all, you're going to the funeral of somebody who abused you. So obviously, you're going to have a lot of emotions.
And a lot of sparks flying.
Right.
And a lot of things not jiving. And maybe somehow his inner spirit was crying. I know that sounds like strange, but it very well could be.
It definitely offers an explanation.
Yeah,
Whereas
other than that, I don't know what the plausible explanation would be,
Right.
except for different energies like that. I have a story for you, and it's called Time Travel. Now this is an extremely different thing. I had gone to the Hoosac Tunnel. In fact, I was the only investigator allowed to go the entire 5 miles of the Hoosac Tunnel.
So who's that? I've heard
Ghost hunters weren't allowed, ghost adventures weren't allowed, but I was given written permission to go through the tunnel and do a paranormal investigation. So we started, in fact, our director George was with us, and we started off on that way. We got halfway, we did our show at the center shaft, and we continued out the other end. And it took us, we thought we were walking the right amount, you know, we kind of timed it all out. It took us a long time after that to get out of the tunnel. We realized, oh my God, it's dark outside. Where is everybody? You know, come to find out, it was hours and hours over the estimated time that we came out of the tunnel. We estimated it would take us probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes a mile. We only had to go so long. We're looking at maybe an hour tops. We came 2 hours and something later. And we all started talking at the same time the same thing. Like, we're here, or what time is it? We're all saying the same things. And I know that a lot of people say that could be like an alien abduction type thing, or time just stood still. Time did stand still. We didn't. We were walking out of the tunnel. The walking and all of that.
I think it's definitely, you know, it is strange how you guys all start saying the same thing around the same time. It is very eerie.
It was extremely eerie.
And just the history of that tunnel alone might have something to do with it.
So, as you were walking, did you feel like it was 2 hours, or did you feel like it was an hour?
We felt like it was like 15, 20 minutes a mile, so we had to go. It's 5 miles long, 2.5 miles, so no. We just
And it took 2 hours?
Walking at a good clip.
Okay.
Couldn't get out of the tunnel. But it felt like we were only walking for a short period of time.
Because, I mean, I'm a super slow runner, okay? I've done a couple of 5Ks, and it takes me 45 minutes to do 3 miles.
Oh.
And that's, you know, half running, half walking.
Right.
But to do 5 miles and have it take over 2 hours, that doesn't make sense if you're walking at a
no,
consistent
it really doesn't.
pace.
And another thing that doesn't make sense either was we were told there'd be no trains whatsoever on their schedule to go through that tunnel, which we've got North Adams, Massachusetts, Orange, Massachusetts, Florida, Massachusetts. There's the 5 miles right there, right through the tunnel. No trains. All the trains they're being held. They weren't scheduled. We came across 2 trains and filmed them. It's like, how in the world could that have happened?
So
we just couldn't get over the trains, number one, and I remember...
That could have been deadly.
Yeah, it was very deadly.
Yeah. Like that?
It was very scary, and then the time factor again, and of course I was told that, you know, it's part of an alien abduction. I don't feel I was having an alien abduction. Sure as hell wasn't probed.
that you know
I remember that one. But, yeah, it was a scary situation.
Did you film the whole time?
Most of it.
So, did you go back and like look at the timestamps of the film to see?
Yeah,
like,
we still had over 2.5 hours extra footage. It was just nuts. It was clearly something that had no explanation to it at all. It was weird. Don't go in that tunnel, girls.
No, I want to go.
No, you want to go now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the places that we have been. Again, this is another great show of Paranormal 13 News. Glad you tuned in. We are live at the Loft in North Andover, Massachusetts, 1140 Osgood Street. And we're going to see you again next time. Goodbye, Jeff, and goodbye you, and goodbye you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some tuna.
Woo! This is so good.
It's really good. It's got a nice kick to it.
I know, and I'm not usually a tuna fan like this.